Hi everyone. This is Linda with Linda's Who Plants for You, for those of you that don't know. And what you're looking at right now is my Tradescantia Zebrina. And I want to tell you the little story about this. Well, first of all, can I show you this? You see that little flower? I've never had one of these flowers. I mean, they grow very profusely. They're easy plants. They're easy to propagate and they're easy to grow. But I've never seen one flower. So that really tickled me today. And again, this plant is under my new Hydrolite grow light. And boy, that light is something else. I've had to move a couple plants out from under it because it was actually too bright. So I'm still kind of experimenting with it, and I'm, putting things back and forth and just seeing how they do, and eventually we'll get it down pat. But in the meantime, it's kind of fun to see the difference. These leaves are very healthy and thick and almost feel like rubber. They're so healthy. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put this in a bigger pot, and I want to let you know that this plant, part of it is from cuttings that Suzette gave me. In fact, this is one of the pieces from her. I got the rest of hers in a hanging pot in my dining room window, and that one is growing like a weed as well. But I've put a few of her pieces in with this one. I really didn't need to because, as you can see, this one is growing like crazy. And for those of you who don't remember, and maybe many of you won't remember, because I'm sure you're not sitting around every day trying to memorize all of my videos. Of course, you could if you wanted to. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so here's the thing. My husband and I were in a store called Milligers, and it's in Racine, Wisconsin. It's about an hour away from where we live, so we don't get there very often, about twice a year. And I went there looking for certain plants for outside. And this was last spring. And when we were leaving, I found this little piece, about 6 inches long, laying on the floor. And I was reluctant to pick it up, and because I didn't want people to think I pinched it off of something. I would not do that. Although I've been tempted like everybody else, I wouldn't actually go through with that. I'd be thinking about how I stole it every time I watered it, so that's not an option for me. But when I picked it up, I pulled it out of my pocket when we were checking out, and I told the cashier that, I said, I found this on the floor. Would it be all right if I took it home and tried to bring it back to life? And she laughed at me, and she said, absolutely, go ahead. So I did, and I stuck it in this pot. And this plant grew, it had to be 8 feet long within a month or two. And it was all over my stands in my dining room that I have under my windows. It was growing all around all my plants and starting to root into some of them. And she just really took off and went crazy. And, well, for reasons I don't want to talk about again, I wasn't able to do anything about it at that time. So when I finally got to it, it was about 10 feet long. And I cut it back, and I repotted the pieces in here. And this is the result of what I had. As you can see, there's a lot here. While this is not a plant that I would purposely go out and purchase, part of the reason is because it's always been a very easy, what I call common plant, and easy to get. Way back when I was in my 20s, everybody had one of these, and back then they called them wandering Jews. And I understand that there is a story behind that, but I don't want to go into that right now because, some people are okay with it and some aren't, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes. So suffice it to say, it's a Tradescantia Zebrina, I believe, is the correct name. So what I want to do today is I'm going to take some cuttings, and these root in water and they root in soil. I'm not even going to bother with the water because of that. Now I had this on my table under my grow light, and I loved the way it would grow down and then back up again. And if you look at one of my, I think it's my, maybe going back 4 videos, I believe, 4 or 5 videos, you'll see this. It's the one where my sofa is in front of the table. You'll see this in the back, how it hangs down and then it comes back up like this. It just looks so, I don't know, exotic or bizarre or dainty. I don't even know what the right word is for it, but I love it. So, because it's getting down and it's now sitting on the table, some of it, I'm going to cut the real long ones back. And before I do, we're going to throw a little water in here. This is my faucet water. This is my plain Plain, for those of you that saw my oops on one of my videos where I put an E on the end of it by accident. I put my faucet water in here and I let it sit out for a day or 2 with the cap off. I don't know for sure if that does any good. I hear that it does, so that's what I do. And I use that on a lot of my plants that I know are okay with that water, and I don't have to use distilled on there. I would love to use distilled on everything, but I'm not the one that has to go and get it, and it's an added thing that my husband does for me, and I'm just trying to ease some of his work. So, there we go. All right. Talk on it. I know I had my stick here. I pulled it out. I was ready to go. There it is. Okay. So I watered it because it's just easier. The dirt will stay where I put it till I get my cutting in there. We're going to just take the real long ones. Okay, well, I don't know how much you missed. My camera died, and I've never had that happen. The battery ran out. I've never had that happen. But I'm back. I've got it charged up, and hopefully it'll stay charged until I get to the end of the video. I'm pretty close. We cut this piece off, and I was debating whether or not to put this in like this, and I'm still wondering if I should do that or not, but I think I am going to do it, but I'm going to leave the short pieces on and take the long piece off. So I'm going to cut that right here at the juncture. Right there. And that'll give me this long piece. I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to stick this one there we go. Losing my mind again. I need to put this in a bigger pot. So the first thing I need to do is get it out of this pot. I don't know what is going on with my brain this week, but I'm so forgetful. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Darn it. No, I wished I wouldn't have watered it, but too late. Okay. I'm going to put a little soil in the bottom of here. I might have that a little too high. And in fact, this pot is a little too small because this plant grows so fast. But it's all I have at my disposal for now, so for right now it's going to have to do. I'm probably going to have to repot this in a month or less, the way this thing is growing. But that's okay. I enjoy repotting my plants. I enjoy the whole process. I love to feel the dirt, or soil, sorry. I love to feel that around my fingers. There's something calming and relaxing about that. Okay. Some on this side. Yeah, I can't believe my battery went dead. That's never happened before. Must not have had it charged up enough. Well, at least it worked. At least it worked. Okay. Now we want to dig the hole and start inserting my cuttings. And again, this can be done in water or in soil. So whatever you prefer. And for me, it's sometimes just what mood I'm in. Sometimes I prefer to do soil, and sometimes I prefer to do water. And sometimes it depends on what plant I'm potting. So, okay, we've got two really long ones here. I thought I cut off a shorter one. No, I guess I didn't. Alright, well, let's work with what we have on the table here first, shall we? And get some of the long ones out of the way. And let's move her out of the way. Okay. One thing about this plant, like many hanging plants, is the tops of the soil gets bare, and the tops of the stems lose their leaves. And I noticed that if you keep the top of the pot in a brighter light, it's less likely to do that. The other thing is the watering issue, which I have a problem with because I tend to be an underwaterer. And if that top part dries out too far, those are the first leaves to go, and I never could quite understand that. Maybe it's because they're the first to dry out. Because I would think if you're going to lose leaves from underwatering, it would be the ones at the end of the stem, because they're not, the water's got so much further to go to get there. But maybe it's because the water's already down in there that this part dries out first. That would make sense, I think. So that's probably true. Alright, I don't think I'm going to cut any more off of her. I think these are okay. So let's cut this. This is pretty long. And I think I'm going to make this one into 2 pieces. I'm going to cut this one right here. I'm going to take a couple leaves off the bottom, because if you don't, and they are sitting in the soil or laying on the soil, they will rot, and that'll just bring problems that we don't need. Okay. And I think I'm going to cut this woody stem off of here. I'm going to make this a shorter cutting, because like I said, this thing grows so fast. And I'd rather have it full and bushy than... I like it long, but I don't like it to be straggly. I like it to be full and long. And the way that you do that is to keep making cuttings and sticking them back in the soil, as is with many plants. Okay, I'm going to cut this one off right here. And again, we're going to take the bottom leaf off, maybe both of these. I'm going to take this off too because it's sideways and it makes it harder to get it down in the soil. And I think, let's see, where will we put her? Right here, huh? Okay. There. Alright. And I think I'm going to put this one in the way it is. Hopefully she'll survive. It's always harder to root longer pieces because the plant is busy keeping all this foliage alive while it's trying to produce new roots. So that makes sense. But, like I said, with this plant, I don't think it's really going to be an issue. And it grows so fast and I have so much of it. If I lose a stem or two, it's not going to be the end of the world. I mean, I don't wish for that to happen, obviously, but if it does, it does. I'm going to take this one off because it's about to go. And I'm going to take this one off because it's laying on the soil, and we don't want that. Okay. What have we got left here? These are still connected. I thought I had another piece here. Yes. Okay. I'll take the bottom leaves off of this. And I'm going to straighten this one out a little bit too. And make a little hole. And stick her and try to get her all the way down. And I put a little pressure on it to fill the hole that I just made. Don't want to press down too far. You don't want to compact the soil But you don't want any air pockets either. So, especially on cuttings, because if you have air pockets right next to the stem, it's not going to get any water. It's going to go right past it. So that's important to note. And what do we have here? You know what? I'm going to cut these other two long ones. Just going to make it a little uniform because I know it's going to grow really fast. And also keeping in mind that wherever you cut these stems, they're going to branch out new foliage. New stems, new leaves. Right where you cut them. So if you cut them down too far, you're going to have a very bushy bottom of your plant and nothing at the top. So, and that's true with a lot of hanging plants. Okay. The string of pearls comes to mind. You know, when you have a string of pearls and they're all growing long, and then if you cut it down, you know, say 5 inches from the bottom because you want to take a cutting from it, be prepared for that to branch out because it's going to. So if you don't like that look, and I don't, I would prefer them all to be hanging straight down. And because they tangle so easily on top of it, it's not good to have all that bulk at the bottom. So I try to be mindful of that when I'm taking cuttings. I try to take them from the top of the pot on my string of pearls. This one I don't mind so much. Oh, I got a broken one here. So let's cut this and stick her in. Stick her back in the soil. My snippers is getting dull. My daughter or granddaughter, I can't remember which, picked that up for me at the dollar store. And next spring, when they have them again, I'm going to tell them to get me $5 worth because they're really nice. They're just the right size. They have the spring action. And then when you're not using it, it's got this lock on it, so it keeps it if you got little ones running around. I mean, I don't even know how they can make that for $1, but I'm not questioning it. I just buy them. I think this was the other one that was real long, right? Yeah. I've been looking for Christmas specials on TV, and there's not many on there other than Hallmark, and you know, those are nice too, but I really miss the old ones. And I did finally see Miracle on 34th Street the other day, but it was the newer version, and it was okay. But it doesn't beat the one from the original version, and I forget what year that was made. It was quite a while ago. Yes, Virginia, there really is a Santa Claus. Love that movie. And of course, everybody's favorite is It's a Wonderful Life. That was on the other night, and I just happened to find it right when it was starting. I was so excited. I love that movie. And yes, I've seen it a million times, but it never gets old. A lot of good stuff in there. And Going My Way with Bing Crosby. And White Christmas. White Christmas was either on Hulu or Netflix, so I did get to see that one. But all of the Christmas shows they have today are, when I go through the menu on my television, I have a Roku TV, when I go through the menu, they're all made in this year. They're all from 2020. And that's okay. I'm not, you know, saying it that they're bad. It's not the atmosphere that I'm after. And then they had, I forget which one it was, but it was a good one. But they had it scheduled to come on at 3 in the morning. What? Who's up at 3 in the morning? Well, I'm up at 3 in the morning a lot, but most people aren't. So, I don't know. I have a lot of those movies on VHS tapes because years ago my dad taped them because he said someday you're not going to be able to see these on TV. But we don't have a VHS player anymore, and I don't know if they even sell them. And even if they do, I'm not sure I want to hook that up because we got a DVD player. So, and I'm sure somebody is going to comment to me that I can find these on Amazon. I did order something, a movie off of Amazon. Well, I had my granddaughter do it a while ago. And they're not the original version. They leave stuff out. I don't know. It wasn't the original. So I'm very, very leery about that. It wasn't the full, what do they call it? The full episode or the full version or whatever. So I've been telling my family to keep an eye out in the stores, and if they can find them, hopefully they're the original, and I'll have that. I think my favorite all-time movie is An Affair to Remember with, yeah, I wish I could remember the names right now, but I can't right off the top of my head. But, oh, that's a good movie. Really good movie. And if you like love stories, that's a good movie. And I believe it's from the 1940s, late 40s, I think. I'm not positive on that, but... And I do have that on DVD. Okay, I think that's it. I think we're done. I'm going to go hang her, put her in her spot. I shouldn't be messing with that with the chemical, but I forget. Okay, I'm going to shut you guys off for a minute while I put her in her home, and I'll be right back. And there she is, in her final resting place. This is where she will be living for a while. I think she turned out good. Well, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you all come back. I have many more planned. Lots of repotting to do, and other things. Thank you all for coming. Bye now.